Hey, have we got such an eclipse for you? So the upcoming eclipse, right now as we speak, is at 0 degrees Leo. What is phenomenal about this eclipse is that 0 degrees of all signs symbolically represents brand new beginnings. So we're literally off to a whole new cycle of everything with 0 degrees starting, because it literally is the definition of a seed being planted. So it hasn't even completely gone into the sign. 0, much like the womb, is around, and it is the gestation or the seed of things to come, right? Even seeds are around most of the time. So right now we're all planting seeds for huge cycles ahead of us, which is welcome at this point. And it is in the sign of Leo, and Leo is the sign that rules romance, creativity, art, pleasure, sports, gambling, speculation, all the things that bring us joy and pleasure. Now, interestingly, the correlation between the 5th house and speculation also suggests the stock market. So it will be interesting to see what happens with the stock market moving forward now. And here's what's really special about this eclipse. It is setting up a grand trine in fire signs. So that is a very protective aspect. It's a very lucky aspect. And it is a very growth-oriented aspect. I have never met someone who had a grand trine of fire in their personal chart that was not fertile like a rabbit. They are literally the bringers of life and in abundance. Now, well, most of the time, this is a general rule, not an absolute rule. So anyway, with that said, we should see a whole new cycle with the stock market on an upswing. And getting better sometime in the next 6 months. So we're going through some major course corrections. This last eclipse we had in Capricorn was a doozy, but a necessary one. It involved Mercury and Saturn together, and Pluto, the game changer, right? And the Sun. This was a very, very big deal. And now the 0 Leo eclipse following it as part of Grand Trine in its chart shows that we're going to be making some positive course corrections in the next 6 months. So keep an eye on that. Now, in our personal lives, how this works out, here's what's important. This also means that where we carry the 0 degrees of fire signs in our personal charts indicates opportunities for us to have some growth experiences and some expansion and some fantastic opportunities coming to us. So this is a great time to take a look at your chart and see what's going on. The other thing is, it's not all roses out here. There are a few thorns on the rose. So we want to be careful what we're getting involved in, because remember, we still have that Jupiter-Neptune square. So we are still in many ways a little over-optimistic, a little overconfident, and probably a little too trusting in some situations. So while your intuition is going to be right on the mark most of the time, understand that when it comes to risk-taking, it may be a little heavy on the optimism. So with that said, don't take this grand trine aspect as part of this eclipse pattern in your fire sign houses too literally. Always, always, always proceed with caution, whether it's with people or your money. Now, this particular eclipse will also see the fly in the ointment, the thorn on the rose, right? We'll be making a quincunx simultaneously to all those Capricorn planets we had at the beginning of the month with that eclipse. Now, what this means for us is that this Leo eclipse, where we find the 0 degrees fire signs in our charts, we've got a lot of luck and opportunity coming. However, it is making a quincunx to those Capricorn planets. So there are still a lot of adjustments that are going to need to be made, and possibly some sacrifices that need to be given to the gods before they will accept our pleas and our prayers. So miracles are definitely a possibility at this time, but not without some tears, some grief, and a lot of struggle. So don't expect the giant bag of money to land on your doorstep. But do expect that the money that you need to cover something will appear from unexpected sources, but not before you shed more than a few tears in a process because of circumstantial things and giant catch-22s that you can't seem to get out of. Whatever presents itself as a saving grace at this time probably really is a saving grace. But again, understand, it's not as simple as it just being handed over for nothing. There is a cost to everything. So your cost may be paid ahead of time, or it may be paid after you receive it, but make sure you understand what the cost is. So if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. All right. Now, at the time of this eclipse also, we still got this huge stellium in Capricorn that's carrying on business as usual from the eclipse earlier this month. So it's really still nose to the grindstone. As this is happening, Mars is still making its square to those Capricorn planets, really putting people to the bricks, you know, in terms of accountability in upper levels of administration, as well as down here on the man on the street sort of level. So extra effort is going to be needed to make things happen. More commitment and discipline is going to be needed to make things work properly. And ultimately, if you are willing to invest yourself into this and give 200% of yourself to make things work, all right? And believe me, it's going to feel like you're giving 200%. The rewards for this are huge. And the best part is you're going to come out looking like a hero, right? For those of you who are trying to skirt responsibility or trying to take the easy way out or just aren't used to working so hard for stuff, like you're just not really used to people not doing it for you and giving it to you, this is probably going to be one of the worst times of your life because, boy, is it going to hurt. Is it going to hurt? Now, with that said, as we get around this eclipse, I mean, I just don't have anything bad to say about this eclipse. So one of the things that I would give to you, other than the caveat about, you know, you've got to put the effort in. There's some sacrifice that needs to be made: blood, sweat, tears, money. Maybe not your firstborn offspring. That's kind of, yeah, you know, your sacred cows, your old beliefs, your hopes, wishes, and dreams that were not a good fit for you in the first place. Something's going to get sacrificed in order for you to get what you need in greater abundance, and which is better for you than you had thought for yourself. So know that, and know that if you really want to see stuff done, you've got to be putting in the 200% effort. You've got to be committed, disciplined, and dedicated, or it's literally going to be the most painful time of your life right now. It can get done with amazing rewards, but you've got to be in it to win it. So other than that, I'm not seeing anything bad about this eclipse. I'm seeing lots and lots of good stuff. And this eclipse literally kind of dovetails right on top of that Capricorn eclipse we just had. And that Capricorn eclipse was very much about changing the playing field, you know, and reorganizing the structures of our lives and getting serious about our accountability and what we're really trying to do. And more importantly, generational legacy. What are we leaving behind for everybody else behind us? So that is your lunar eclipse, full moon eclipse. Sorry, this is your full moon eclipse report for this is 0 degree Leo eclipse. It's going to be a good one. And remember, for the next 6 months, this is all going to play out. And as this, just a reminder, as this eclipse is happening, the January eclipse is also simultaneously being activated. Boom, boom, right? So 2 explosions happening at once. So these are some power days. So watch your step, watch your mouth, and watch your thinking. Think the right things and focus on that and head in that direction. Talk to you later.